Hello and welcome to A Game of Two Halves, the news show brought to you by sports journalism students here at the University of South Wales. I'm your host Callum Buckle and I'll be bringing you the latest sports stories from Wales. On today's show we'll hear how Safer Merthyr Tydfil and Merthyr Town are bringing the community together for White Ribbon Day, as well as being joined in the studio by Dylan McIsaac to discuss Cardiff City. But first we'll bring you today's headlines. Elfyn Evans has conceded significant time to rival Sebastian Ogier over the first four stages of Rally Saudi Arabia. The 36-year-old Welshman started the final round of the 14 rally series just 3 points ahead of Toyota teammate Ogier. Friday will see the drivers compete over a further 6 stages before the final trio on Saturday. Steve Tandy hopes both Wales and the nation's professional regions can find some diamonds out of a far from perfect situation of a South Africa test that is stretching squads. The autumn campaign finishes with a fixture against the Springboks that is outside World Rugby's official test window. And finally, Cardiff City playmaker Ruben Colwell will reportedly be sidelined for up to 3 months after picking up ligament damage against Northampton Town. Bluebirds manager Brian Barry Murphy confirmed his absence and that he may require surgery. For our first story, we head to Leckwith, where Cardiff City under-18s showed their respect towards remembrance. Jake Hastings brings us the story.
Every year on the 11th of November, the sporting world, just like the rest of the nation, pauses. We remember those who gave their lives fighting in service. I'm here at the Cardiff City under-18s game versus Millwall, where the game will not begin with a whistle, but with a moment in silence to remember those who lost their lives. As the players walked out for today's game, Cardiff City captain Harry Watts carried a wreath of poppies which he laid down on the centre circle before both teams observed a minute's silence, beginning and ending on the referee's whistle. Those who fought's legacy will live on, with players wearing poppies on their chests, the moment of silence before the game, and the last post. This weekend is a reminder for sporting as a whole to play with freedom, support with freedom, and remember those that we have lost, lest we forget.
Our next story takes us to the Penydarren Boys and Girls Club in Merthyr Tydfil, where Safer Merthyr Tydfil, who are a charity dedicated to community safety and reducing crime in Merthyr, held a community football event to help raise awareness of White Ribbon Day. Jake Hastings reports.
I'm here today in Merthyr, as Safer Merthyr Tydfil are marking White Ribbon Day with a community football event, bringing children and adults together to promote awareness and bringing violence against women and girls to an end.
So Safer Merthyr Tydfil is an organisation, so we're a charity that's been running since 1997 and is primarily to look at domestic abuse for perpetrators, victims and children and young people.
Safer Merthyr Tydfil is a local organisation working to make communities safer, stronger and more supported, from helping people experiencing domestic abuse to supporting young people to promoting community safety across the borough. Their work puts well-being at the heart of Merthyr Tydfil.
So today is the 25th of November 2025, and on the 25th of November every year we celebrate White Ribbon Day, which is about ending male violence against women. So this year is around We Speak Up. So we've created a community event for children, people, women and men to play football, as we know that football is a grassroots sport, and it's a lot of what we do is around making sure that our community knows who we are and what we do. Sport is important because it gets conversations started. You're in a group of people, you're not alone, you're not isolated, you make friends that you never would have made before, And I think that having organisations involved in what we do makes that difference, and starting from very, very young up into you're looking at men's mental health, women's mental health, keeping physical and active really makes a massive difference to children, people, women and men. So main message for today is for us to end male violence against women. Obviously that's a big task, so all I ask is for everyone to take the pledge on the White Ribbon website and just make the pledge to not be an innocent bystander and support White Ribbon Day and domestic abuse.
With a strong turnout and a powerful message spread, today's football session showed how sport can bring people together to promote respect and safety in the community.
Next up, we head over to our student spotlight. We caught up with second year Marcel Dudek as he shared why he chose sports journalism and his favourite parts of the course so far.
Hi, I'm Marcel Dudek and I'm a second year sports journalism student at the University of South Wales, and I'm here to tell my story. So I've always been really into sports. I've been to football, into volleyball, and since I'm from Poland, the commentators there they make the game seem like live, like you're there, even when you're watching on TV. So I really want to be a commentator when I was younger. So I think this course, there was no real courses near me that do this sort of thing, and this was the nearest one and probably the best one from what I saw on the review. So I was definitely up for it.
So tell us a bit about your backstory. As you said, you're from Poland. Could you give me more of an insight on that?
Yeah, so I was born in Bristol, but I moved back to Poland for 2 years, and then I moved back here. I think I'm enjoying it more because last year was more, essay writing, more writing stuff, but here we're doing more practical stuff with Julie, and we get to go out doing photography, graphics with Andy as well. As I said, I've always been into commentary, so I really wanted to do that. But also, now that I've been doing more photography and graphics with Andy, I'm really into that as well. So I think if commentary maybe doesn't work out, I would really be able to do photography and graphics as well. This year, I think meeting new people, gathering more contacts, so next year I can use them for some of my projects, and then maybe further my career, like getting jobs and stuff like that.
So is the aim for you potentially to get a job in commentary?
Yeah, that would be the dream, but as I said, photography as well. I really love that. So
if you wanted to do, if there was an opportunity to do both, maybe go to a club and be a photographer, but also have the opportunity to do a commentary, is that something that potentially you'd want to do?
definitely, yeah, that's basically the dream, yeah.
Strength and conditioning coach Flynn Woodward recently spoke to Jake Hastings about his recent challenge where he did 24 workouts in 24 hours for charity. Here's what he had to say.
So Flynn, for anyone that doesn't know, what is the challenge that you undertook just over a week ago? So I did 24 workouts in 24 hours, 24 CrossFit workouts for Andy's Man Club. It's a men's charity with groups all over the UK, helping men to meet up and talk about their problems. So in the 24 workouts that you did, what did those involve? So it was all kind of CrossFit workouts. So it was various different exercises like press-ups, squats, box jumps, barbell work like Olympic lifts, power cleans, push press. There's a lot of running, rower, skier, just all that kind of stuff. Why did you do this challenge? I went away backpacking for 6 months at the start of this year, and then at the best time, but I realised quite early on that I was struggling to be on my own, and then I decided to come home because I was waking up in Australia just anxious, literally like waking up every day sweating, just literally I was at rock bottom. I wanted to raise awareness for men's mental health in general, but also to show people that even the people who are like the loudest in the room, who are always the ones cracking jokes, smiling, laughing, who'd never even think of going through anything, can still struggle too. I'd never been part of an Andy's Man Club thing, but I'd heard about them and I'd seen that they were all about getting men to speak up, so that kind of resonated with me a lot.
What was the toughest moment for you during those 24 hours?
The toughest moment for me was workout 9. Not because it was, if you did the workout on its own, it's fine. But I got to a point where everything just started hurting. I started cramping up, like every muscle I didn't even know could cramped up.
So if anyone that doesn't know, how much money did you raise in the end?
£1,665.
How did it feel at the end when you see that much money had been raised for you in the 24 hours?
It's just mental because it made it feel worth it because the rep Graham from the Auntie's Man Club in Ponty said that was enough to cover the room hire for a year for their group. If it meant saving someone who was close to me, or if it meant stopping someone who I knew was in the exact same position I was 6 months ago, I'd do it all now because I'd never want anyone to feel the way I did. After doing it, it made me realize how many people I actually have in my life, which I really didn't think I had any of that before. And I'm probably the happiest I've ever been in my whole life. And that's all because I spent time working on myself, getting through all the stuff I did, and then doing this challenge on top, which is almost like the icing on the cake.
I'm now joined in the studio by Dylan McIsaac, who is here to talk to us about everything Cardiff City ahead of their league game against Mansfield Town. So, Dylan, obviously recently it's been announced by Brian Barry Murphy in a press conference that Ruben Colwell will face a lengthy spell on the sidelines for set to be about 3 months. How big of an impact will this injury have on the team?
Yeah, it's obviously massive. Ruben has been one of the standout players for Cardiff. He's topping a lot of statistics. He's been the kind of key creative man in their midfield, obviously gaining Wales call-ups as well. They're not quite sure yet whether or not he's going to require surgery, but they will let us know that as soon as possible, of course. He started every league game this season, which shows you just how big of a player he is in that team. And he's also the vice-captain, so you really, really can't underestimate kind of how big of an impact it's going to have. It does give some potential for some young players to potentially break through. Might see a few new players in the squad, and Cardiff should really, being second in the table, they should have enough depth in their squad to cover for his absence.
Yeah, and so you say second in the table, obviously coming into a busy Christmas period with games coming thick and fast. How important is it to get a few big wins and hit the ground running in this period?
Yeah, it's massive, of course. This is the key point of the season. People always say if you're in and around it at Christmas, that's how you really know. They've won 4 of their last 7 with wins over Arsenal under 21s and Wrexham. They've lost a few games, but I'm sure they'll get back on track and get back to winning ways.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you, Dylan. Before we head into our final story of the show, we'll quickly show you what is next to come on the show at And for our final story of the show, University of South Wales football seconds coach Rob Bailey spoke on the strange story on why their recent league game had to be replayed.
Every year on the 11th of November, the sporting world, just like the rest of the nation, pauses. We remember those who gave their lives fighting in service. I'm here at the Cardiff City under-18s game versus Millwall, where the game will not begin with a whistle, but with a moment in silence to remember those who lost their lives. As the players walked out for today's game, Cardiff City captain Harry Watts carried a wreath of poppies which he laid down on the centre circle before both teams observed a minute's silence, beginning and ending on the referee's whistle. Those who fought's legacy will live on, with players wearing poppies on their chests, the moment of silence before the game, and the last post. This weekend is a reminder for sporting as a whole to play with freedom, support with freedom, and remember those that we have lost, lest we forget.
Thank you for tuning in today to a game of 2 halves, bringing you the latest from Welsh sport. I've been your host Callum Buckle, and from myself and the team, thank you and goodbye.